Welcome back to another episode of, I don't know what this show is called, and today I'm going to be taking you through another bench and squat training session, as well as some accessories and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to be running you through my training week, the competitions I have coming up, how I've manipulated my training, what I've been doing and why, all that kind of fun shit. And it is 6:34 in the morning, so forgive me if I'm half asleep. I've got a busy day and I wanted to get this done. I mainly wanted you to see me squat. So anyway, let's dive in. To give you a breakdown of what my trainings look like and what's been happening, I think I mentioned in my last video, I have a couple races that I've signed up for. This weekend coming, probably it'll be after the event by the time this video comes out, I have a 10K race. So that is happening this Sunday. 2 weeks after that, I have a 21K trail race. In a normal situation, if you're training for one race, your training would kind of peak and then you would just taper down in the lead up to that race. So taper is just a reduction in your training volume in the lead up to the race to allow for some recovery, so you can diminish some of the fatigue that you've accumulated, and hopefully all of those fitness benefits and everything you've gained over your training cycle can then kind of come to fruition. Given that I have two races in quite quick succession and the distance of these races is quite different, as well as the paces I will likely be running at these races quite different, I have had to change things around a little bit in my training these past few weeks. Instead, what I've had to do is do a really big peak week last week where I ran close to 60 Ks, and then I've done a little taper, not a full taper, this week in the lead up to my 10K race, because I don't want to be cooked when I get to my 10K race. And then I'm going to peak again next week, and then I'm going to taper again in the lead up to the 21K trail. You necessarily don't need to do it that way, but this is a method that I'm trialing because I did something similar last year when I had a couple half marathons back to back. Now, the 10K race this weekend, I don't think I'm going to PB, to be honest. I'm a little bit heavier than the last time I ran a 10K race. I have done a little bit of tempo work and I just haven't felt, or speed work, and I haven't felt as fast as I have in the past. That's primarily down to a couple things. I've put a lot more emphasis on lifting in the past few training blocks, and I literally only decided to push into some races because I was bored. Anyway, today I'm taking you through some bench, which you've seen 100 times, but also some squats today. I moved my squats earlier in the week because normally they would be on the last day of my training week, which is then only a day away from my 10K race. I want my legs to be as fresh as they can be in the lead up to this race. And yeah, we're gonna bench and do some other shit. Four more sets of that. As of right now, I'm sore as fuck. I'm sore. Training has been tough over the past fortnight particularly. Everything's been hard. I've been sleeping and everything quite well, eating good, but just training's been hard, so I feel tired, and that's normal. To be fair, the numbers in the gym have still been pretty good. I'm just finding it harder to maintain the intensity of the workouts over longer periods of time. Know when you do hybrid training that you're not going to feel good all the time. It's unrealistic to assume that you're always going to feel good. You're not. You just got to show up anyway and do the work. If you're hoping that you're going to feel fresh going into every session, you're wrong. A lot of powerlifters will be like that because strength requires you to feel strong in order to push more weight in many instances. When it comes to hybrid training, it's very hard to want that to happen. When you run, you're almost always running on tired legs. So like running on tired legs kind of is the norm. And in hybrid training, I dare say being tired and lifting heavy is also going to be the norm at times. Not always, but at times. That's where things like load management can come into play. You know, you don't have to go heavy all the time. You just need to have realistic expectations that if you're pushing hard in other aspects, they're going to have an impact on other things. And I knew that when I'm pushing my running quite hard, it's going to have an impact on the gym. Needless to say, gym is still okay, but I'm just finding these sessions much harder to be able to maintain the intensity. Oh, Lord. Let me explain something to you called constant exposure. A lot of hybrids, or even people like Coach, they race or lifting competition coming up, they tend to drop off in their other training modality. So say they have a race, they tend to pull back on their lifting heaps, if not do any at all. Some lifters who have a run coming up will have a lifting competition coming up will tend to do no running at all, which I totally understand why you would want to do that. But I'm a firm believer in constant exposure. Constant exposure is basically continuously exposing yourself to the other training modality, despite the absence of progression. In my case right now, I know I'm not going to be hitting a PB over the next 3 weeks. I know that I'm probably not going to be getting much stronger over the next 3 weeks, but if I can at least maintain while running heaps right now, do as best as I can at these races, although I know realistically where I'm at, that I will then, when they finish, be able to, or build up to hopefully something new. If you're continuously dropping off with one training modality and needing to rebuild, and you're continuously doing that, over the course of a year, if you're taking time off that frequently, there's a very good chance that you're wasting time that you could be progressing, and you might actually be chasing your tail for 2 months of the year when you could have had some productive training. It just means your progress is going to be much slower, and sometimes you might always just be kind of trying to build back up to where you were before. I don't want to be building back up to where I was before. I want to just be staying where I am and then using more of the off season to grow or get faster. I think hybrids really need to ensure that they're continuously exposing themselves to whatever training modalities they want to be getting better at all the time and not taking time off if they don't need to. You should be training often. And if you do a little bit, albeit even if the quality is poor at times, like today, I'm not exactly having the best session. I'm tired as fuck. I think it'll set you up for more success later on, and you hopefully will get a PB sooner rather than later. If you're someone who low bar squats and find that your shoulders are always tight and you struggle to get in position, you might need to stretch them out a little bit before you get into the low bar position. Because I just benched, my shoulders are quite tight now. So I generally find just doing a little stretch can help open them up before I get into it. I'm not a big fan of stretching. I don't really give people stretches per se, unless you're going to be doing something with that stretch straight after. I don't think people need to stretch for the sake of stretching, but in my case, so I can get in the right low bar position, it makes a little bit of a difference, although my shoulders are still pretty tight right now. So, me being very optimistic, thought I would be able to work up to like 180 today for a set of 5. I just did one set of 160. My legs are fucked. I'm very sore. And it was hard. Last week I did 175 for 5 and it was comfortable. So we're gonna stick with 160, 3 sets in total and call it there. I had a long run on Sunday, had a long run last Thursday, had a fast 10K yesterday. The legs are definitely feeling it. Race this Sunday. It does not make sense to try to go up in weight and force it. I'm just gonna do what I can. The key for this week is not to cook my legs too much so I can actually have some decent pace on me this Sunday and see what happens. But there's no point in trying to go hard. It actually felt terrible. So let's just stick with this weight. I'm also squatting 2 days earlier than I would normally because I didn't want my legs to feel like shit. I would say what I'm doing now with my training, my strength training, is training at or close to the minimum effective dose. The minimum effective dose is the minimum amount of training you need in order to build or maintain whatever training modality it is you are trying to improve. Minimum effective dose for running could be the least amount of running you need to do in order to maintain or improve your running performance. In lifting, it's the same. Today's session, I only did 3 sets of squats when I would usually do 5. I would say that's enough for me to kind of maintain my squats where they are. Definitely not going to be building much off that, also considering that I went lighter than what I did last week, but the minimum effective dose is awesome. It can help you maintain whatever it is you're trying to do without adding too much fatigue or accumulating fatigue at a much slower rate. Given how hard I'm running right now, I'm putting the majority of my eggs in that basket for the next couple of weeks, and then we'll start pushing the lifting a little bit more. But if I can at least maintain, I'll be happy. I know a lot of you probably want to lift heavy and run fast. So I made programs that are available for you to download. Hit the link in the description and go get your lift heavy, run fast programs. 12 weeks of coaching for both strength training and running for the 5, 10, or 21K distances. All you need to do is plug your numbers in and the program will build itself. It's the only program that's a one-time purchase like it on the market. Go get it now. That's a wrap on another video. Thanks so much for watching. Race this weekend. I'll keep you updated on that. Next race 2 weeks away. As always, comment, follow, subscribe, do whatever the fuck you got to do. Share it with your grandmother. Lift heavy, run fast programs available now. Click the link below. As always, contact me for coaching. I'll see you guys next time.